Today we're talking about how to eat to reduce pain and inflammation in your body. When it comes to pain and inflammation, nutrition plays a key role. And so there's a couple things that people are doing that are driving up inflammation in their body when it comes to their diet. And so we go right there. These are the three big things, three big takeaways that you want to come out of this with. And then also I'm going to go through the best foods and nutrition principles to follow. Number one is reduce sugar, grains, and starches. When we're consuming a lot of food with sugar, processed foods, lots of foods with grains and starches, there's a lot of empty calories there. We're not getting a whole lot of nutrients, and we're getting a lot of calories, particularly calories that are driving up our blood sugar and driving up insulin levels. And when sugar goes up, it drives up inflammation. When insulin goes up, that brings up inflammation in the system. And so we want foods that are going to help stabilize and balance our blood sugar. And that's why we want to reduce sugar, grains, and starches. Number two is getting rid of bad fats and increasing the amount of good fats. What are bad fats? It's going to be our processed seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, canola oil, and hydrogenated oils. So if you see partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated oils, these are trans fats. All of these seed oils, they are all high in omega-6 fats, which increase inflammation in our system. They're also very fragile oils. And so they ultimately have a high oxidative burden in our system. That means they increase oxidation, which is an increase of rusting in our system. You think about like an apple, how you take a bite out of an apple and you let it sit out and it turns brown. That's oxidation. That's what these seed oils do inside of our system. They increase oxidation or rusting or aging. That drives up inflammation, drives up pain in our system. So we want to get rid of those. And instead, we want to get our fats from grass-fed animal products, wild-caught seafood. When animals are eating grass, when fish are wild-caught, they're going to have higher amounts of omega-3s, lower amounts of omega-6s. They're also going to have healthy amounts of things like conjugated linoleic acid and different fat-soluble antioxidants that bring down inflammation and oxidative stress in our system. You also want things like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, coconut oil. Those are all healthier fat sources that we want to be getting our fats from. So getting rid of the bad fats, getting the good fats. And then number three is getting rid of chemicals. We're trying to do our best to reduce our exposure to chemicals. When it comes to our diet, chemicals come in the form of pesticides, herbicides, mycotoxins, and even some anti-nutrients like oxalates. The more that we can kind of reduce our exposure to some of these things, the better, particularly the man-made toxins, chemicals like pesticides and herbicides. We definitely want to avoid those as much as possible. They're never healthy. A certain amount of oxalates or plant-based anti-nutrients can actually have some health benefits. Phytic acids, a lot of these plant-based chemicals or plant-based compounds that we think of as being negative can have positive benefits when they're consumed in moderation for a certain type of individual, right? Some individuals have a higher threshold than others, and others, need less of those types of foods. But as much as possible, of course, avoiding the man-made chemicals is super key here. So meal principles. When it comes to meals, we want to be consuming 2 to 3 meals a day. So your average adult, unless you're like a high-level athlete, you're exercising for, more than 45 minutes or an hour a day, you shouldn't need more than 2 to 3 meals a day. Most people can do great with just 2 meals a day. Some individuals may need 3 if they're not able to consume a larger meal. Or again, if they're trying to build lean body mass or doing intense weight training to try to build muscle tissue, then you might need 3 meals a day. And so 2 to 3 meals should be fine. You shouldn't need to snack outside of that. Snacking increases blood sugar, increases insulin, and causes our body to be poor fat burners. When we're burning fat for fuel, fat is a preferred energy source. It's actually very, very metabolically clean. We're able to burn fat and produce less oxidative stress than when we're burning sugar. If we're constantly eating throughout the day, and particularly foods that are perhaps higher in sugar and starch, we're going to be driving up insulin and telling our body burn sugar for fuel. And that's fine if we burn a little bit of sugar, but if we're always burning sugar for fuel, we're producing a lot of oxidative stress, which is going to drive up inflammation in our system. That's going to drive up pain. So By consuming 2 to 3 meals a day, we give ourselves a lot of time and space between meals. That brings our blood sugar and insulin down and allows our insulin to go under a certain threshold where we start to burn fat. We can't burn fat as long as insulin's elevated. So when insulin goes down under this threshold, we start burning fat for fuel. Again, that's a cleaner energy source and more anti-inflammatory energy source when we start burning our own body fat. So 2 to 3 meals a day will do that. Also make sure that we're consuming 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. So when you're setting up your meal, really think about the protein and the fat. You don't necessarily need to count carbohydrates or count calories, but be very considerate of how much protein is in that meal. For good blood sugar stability, we want 30 to 50 or perhaps more grams of protein in that meal. The only time we really need more is, again, if you're trying to build muscle mass. So if you are doing intense strength training to try to build muscle mass, in some cases you may need more than 50 grams of protein, but for most people, 30 to 50 grams is a really good sweet spot. Try to get that in the meals that you're consuming. That will stabilize your blood sugar, help your body build lean body mass, bone tissue, muscle tissue. It'll help you burn fat for fuel and help keep blood sugar stable and inflammation under control. So get the protein, 15 to 30 grams of fat in a meal. Some people can consume a high amount of fat in a meal and feel great. I can do that. I have no problem consuming 50 or more grams of fat, 50 to, even 60 or 70 grams of fat in a meal, and I still feel fine. Other people, if they consume 20 grams of fat in a meal, they don't feel good. They feel bloated. They get acid reflux. They have a lot of different unwanted digestive symptoms. So if that's you, perhaps you have sluggish bile flow. You need bile to emulsify the fat and to break down the fat and absorb it properly. Some people have very, very sluggish bile flow. You may need less fat. Maybe you don't have a gallbladder. Maybe you've had liver issues. You might need 15, 20 grams of fat in that meal. The fat combined with the protein is going to help stabilize your blood sugar, and that's super key for keeping inflammation and pain under control. And then you top it off with colorful fruits and vegetables. When you're getting fruits and vegetables that have a lot of color to them, they're going to provide a lot of nutrients for your body. And as long as your protein and your fat are stable, you've got a good amount of those, like I just mentioned, that's going to keep your blood sugar stable, so you'll still be able to enjoy some of the sugary fruit that you might be consuming without having a blood sugar imbalance and without driving up insulin through the roof. And so make sure you get your protein, healthy fats under control, then fill it with colorful fruits and vegetables. All the different colors of fruits and vegetables have different polyphenol antioxidants that provide a wide range of health benefits, really support our gut microbiome, our immune system, and provide nutrients that we need for healthy skin, healthy brain, healthy hair, and really just the energy we need to thrive in life.